Hello, there are too many games this year in my backlog and, well, just in general, to be honest. In an attempt to make my way through a bunch of games coming up to the end of the year, I thought I'd do a small series recapping some of the things I've played. I thought I would give some brief thoughts and what crossed my mind as I did. My goal isn't really to tell you my favourite game of the year, I'm much too indecisive for that, but instead give you a quick blast of games you might have missed out on and just were curious about in 2025. And this restriction may make it hard to fully give a take on games, as I'm trying to make sure none get over the 10-minute mark, but I guess that's part of the fun too. Here's what I thought about Are We There Yet? I think I've developed a good deal of respect for games that are willing to just mess with you. And we've seen them quite a few times over the last few years, taken from classics like QWOP or even I Wanna Be the Guy. I think this year's Baby Steps fits into that niche, and in a much lesser sense, Are We There Yet also picks up the mantle. I'm not saying it's supposed to infuriate you like those games, and it doesn't take it nearly as far, but the sense of being lost is certainly part of the charm. The tutorial is a book that is easily missable, which explains some basic mechanics with pictures, then you are left to your own devices and hopefully your friends. And the first time I played the game, it took maybe 5 minutes to feel entirely out of my depth. Admittedly, part of this is because I thought I'd turned on the engine of my RV, seemingly hadn't, watched it sit in place while swapping gears, and assumed you had to pull it up the hill to manually get some gas. I'm a fool, what can I say? But even when I got down the incredibly tough challenge of holding W to drive, I quickly found myself bitten by a snake, pulling the RV through crevices with the help of a winch mechanism and just generally failing my way upwards. See, Are We There Yet is part puzzle game, part adventure, and part physics sandbox. Everything feels a bit floaty, but in a way that encourages you to put down planks and risk driving over them, or just throwing down a ramp and taking that jump. It's good fun, and a regular checkpoint system encourages you to risk it all for glory. To give you a brief rundown of just some of the things you'll use when getting from point A to point B, you can find small objects that can be placed inside your RV, like hammers to repair your RV, burgers to get health back, and antidotes for when those aforementioned snakes get their fangs into you. Then, strapped to the top and back of your RV, you can place spare tires, ramps, poles you can put a winch into, and more. And that winch will be very important as you hook it up to a nearby tree and direct your compadre on how much you should be sending that vehicle forward before putting it in park and fixing it onto the next one. It's a game that constantly makes you say, I'm pretty sure we can make that gap before you wind up plummeting into the ravine below. And this is helped by everything feeling just a little too manual, a little clumsy. Take the driving, for instance. Once you've sat down in your chair, you'll have to take your RV out of park, adjust the gears, turn on your engine, and slowly edge forward. Naturally, going straight into second or third gear isn't a smart idea, so you slowly get used to the rhythm of using inertia to get enough speed to justify bumping it up a notch. To contribute to this, the winch has modes for the front and back of the RV, with you adjusting slack or tightening it at will. This means if you're clever or patient with it, you can alternate between the two, using the tension of the suspension to literally carry the RV along. It's neat and rewards you for just trying it, for just slamming the foot down or saying, wait, I have an idea to your mates. And it's very clearly a game designed with that in mind. You can only carry a single thing at a time, which means you are much quicker when you have a friend who can control a winch while you drive, or who can adjust it while you have your finger on the button. Inventory management is a big part of it too. It's well choreographed and all strapped to that RV, but it's got proximity chat too and a dedicated emote system. It has 3 buttons where their sole purpose is to make your pudgy, middle-aged RV driver character smoke, and you even get a light speed boost for taking a drag. And this all plays into the humour of the game, one where you'll find yourself spamming the smoke button to get a little more speed to run away from the 2 bears that suddenly started hunting you down. Are We There Yet also has these little extra elements like stories told in cassette tapes or customization items to find that make retreading routes fun in their own right. For what it's trying to be, which is a game you played late some night in a Discord call, Are We There Yet is solid. I don't think it's a game that will stick with me any longer than the month I played it in, but it's so reasonably priced and slapstick that I don't really think that's the point. There's a real sense of progression in you having to get through the sparsely populated backroads to get to Route 65, and yet filled with awkward gaps, bears, snakes, and enough to feel like a genuine challenge at points. I have, multiple times, I'm rather ashamed to admit, said that we can make that gap, smushed the RV in between two trees, and ripped it apart, and yet managed to save just enough of the hull to get to the next checkpoint, and these moments are great, especially so if you've got someone willing to laugh at you while you do so. And thank you for watching this much smaller than usual video on Are We There Yet? I thought coming into December and the end of the year, and also I'm kind of out of the country by the middle of December, I thought it would be a really good chance just to give these quick takes or feelings and thoughts that I've written down in some Google Doc and just never come back to. If you like this format, do let me know. I like the idea of the games that I don't have huge amounts to say, getting into a smaller video and then dedicating 20-30 minutes to things that really strike me in some way. If you do like this and you want to show support, liking always helps, commenting definitely helps, and of course subscribing is one of the best ways to support the channel. Thank you.